So, recently I managed to become buddies with Dr. Fang. But why is it such a big deal, you may ask? Well, if you play My Time at Sandrock and you paid any attention to this character, you already know. And if you don't, let me explain. Dr. Fang. For a character so undeveloped, so unfinished, he sure caused a lot of stir in the fandom. He is definitely hands down my go-to romantic choice in this game, but I'm not the only one intrigued. He is rather popular, and for a number of reasons. First of all, his looks. I mean, yeah. Then there's the fact that he is incredibly enigmatic. He is basically a hermit living in the outskirts of Sandrock with only a raven as a companion. And he doesn't speak a lot, if at all. He's not exactly rude, like, say, Gust and Portia, but he is just not interested in human company. Like, people aren't a total waste of his time, only as patients, which, when you look at it like that, yeah, it can be seen as rude. Anyway, that's not all. To top it all off, he is one of very few characters you can't actually do anything with. He never posts commissions, he doesn't play cards, he doesn't spar, and even though we can give him gifts, he doesn't actually accept anything. And he has no connection to any character other than X the Raven. So, befriending, let alone romancing this guy is extremely difficult. There are ways to increase your relationship with this guy, but prepare to suffer. One of them is talking to him, but in case you thought it's this easy, you just visit him and patiently talk to him every day. No. Initially, talking to him does nothing. Yep, nothing. No relationship points whatsoever. Somewhere around week 2 or 3, I think 2, you should get a letter from him, or rather a note, in fact, because a letter would be way too personal, announcing that he's gonna be running clinical tests, and we can take part in them. They take place every Wednesday and Friday, and we can get +3 points of friendship for participating. Yes, only +3, for being a test subject and sometimes suffering unpleasant side effects. They're only temporary, but still, +3 for turning blue or fainting on the spot. Mind you, those tests often have positive results, and as we help him discover new medical concoctions, he will start selling them, and some of that stuff is really good. Still, +3. Anyway, we can start accumulating friendship points with Fang only, and I mean only, if we take part in his test at least once. And then, talking to him gives us the usual +1, his tests +3, and he doesn't seem to care about the current situation in Sandrock, so he doesn't get those special topics every time something big comes up, which is usually worth 2 points, so we don't get that from him. We can only get up to 13 points of friendship per week, if we talk to him every day and participate in his tests twice a week, like clockwork. 13 points is as good as it gets. Not to mention, he will not run his tests if there's a sandstorm. Also, if we participate in those tests week after week, twice a week, all the time, at some point the game will force us to skip a week. The game will tell us that too much is too much, basically. There also comes a time, presumably after we've discovered all the medicines available in early access, when the testing booth still shows up, but we can't use it anymore. Fang is inside his clinic, and the game gives us the same message as if we are late for a normal test. Anyway, from that point on, we are restricted to talking only. And being limited to 1 point per day means basically no progress. However, what we can do is we can befriend his raven. He is not that difficult, there are many gifts he likes, and he has a personal quest that awards us with many friendship points with both him and Dr. Fang. However, there is one thing that will hinder our efforts. X is usually perched on Fang's shoulder, and although he will speak to us in his master's stead, those conversations will only affect our relationship with Fang. In other words, we can only speak directly to X and give him gifts when he's alone. When they're both in a clinic, X usually sits on his little perch near the door or on top of a ladder. Unfortunately, Fang has a habit of going out and wandering aimlessly for hours, from morning till afternoon or early evening. On Wednesdays and Fridays, he will run his medical tests in front of the clinic, but when he is just wandering around or when he is running the tests, X is literally glued to him. Basically, he stops being a separate entity and there is nothing we can do to talk to him. Also, sometimes when they get back inside from their walks, for example, X will not leave Fang's shoulder, which may or may not be a glitch. After 10 p.m. and sometimes during the day, somewhere around lunchtime, they will hide in Fang's private room. And we are not allowed there until we reach 2 hearts with Fang. We should be able to talk to X every day. If we visit the clinic around 7 p.m, he should be available, but sometimes he can be found somewhere else. He also tends to unexpectedly teleport around the map, so it's possible, even if you know where he is, it's possible to miss him. He can also be found rarely in Mort's house in the graveyard. X likes shiny things, gems and shiny scorpions. Actually, he likes the scorpions more than gems. But what he loves is gold and diamonds. Just remember to, change the type of gifts you give him every 2 or 3 days, because you'll stop getting points if you keep giving him the same thing every day. In any case, befriending X currently has the biggest impact on our relationship with Fang. Even so, I only managed to get it up to 2 hearts in spring year 2. That's more than 3 full seasons. I admit I wasn't able to always talk to X or Fang, and I didn't manage to give X his birthday gift because he kept clinging to his master. Still, I made it. So, you may think, well, at least now that we are buddies with Fang, we can earn more friendship points by taking him out, talking by the oasis, lighting fireworks, and dining in the saloon, right? Wrong. You can't. He just doesn't do that. But does he accept gifts at least? Not to my knowledge. I heard reports that at some point he does, but hasn't happened to me yet. All we get from being buddies with Fang is we are now allowed in his room and he talks more. And I'll take what I can get. Hearing him say more than this,
useless banter, rather time for herbs,
or this,
have needs, query X,
almost makes this whole ordeal worth it. Almost. So, can you befriend Fang? Only with great difficulty, I'm afraid, but it's doable. However, don't expect too much. In fact, don't expect anything other than a couple of new lines of dialogue, but keep in mind that the amount of this character's content is described as very low in the game. There will be more, obviously, but it better be good. The next big update, scheduled for August, is supposed to have some more NPC content, including some quests for Fang. So, let's wait and see. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Take care.